Good morning, gladiators. Welcome back. I hope you had a wonderful weekend, enjoyed those beautiful weather. This weird Texas weather. It was beautiful over the weekend, and now it is cold again. So, who knows, right? I don't know why Texas is this way, but that's okay. I will take it. I will take it. All right, so we are working on February 1st. We have a purple folder. Let's see. Let's go ahead and click on the day. Here we go. All right, so today we have a real interesting lesson. We're going to be learning about the Chernobyl disaster that happened in Russia. It was a nuclear plant that one of the, I believe they say one of the boxes or one of the areas um, failed. So it caused a huge explosion. Obviously, there was some major effects after that. Even still today, the effect is still gruesome. So what I would like for you to do today is you're going to watch this video just to get an understanding about what Chernobyl is. Then we're going to go through this PowerPoint together. So the Chernobyl nuclear disaster. Your objective today is I will be able to identify and analyze ways people have adapted to the physical environment in various places and regions so I can have or develop an understanding of the long-term effects of environmental disasters. I know I have it when I can openly discuss what I've learned to family, friends, and classmates. Again, this is a very interesting subject. So here you have Bart Simpson. Obviously, we know that he works in a nuclear plant. What would happen if a nuclear disaster occurred? Well, a lot of things. Obviously, people would be affected, the land, possibly even wildlife. Just to give you an example, look at this fish. It has three eyes. That's unusual. Usually, fish don't have three eyes. So that's just kind of an idea of what would happen in case if a nuclear disaster were to occur. So here he works in a nuclear plant. So what I want you to do is you're going to click on this video just to see how he reacts. Does he save the day? How could a radiation crisis affect the geography, economics, and political of a country? Well, actually, it would affect all that. Maybe even the social aspects, right? Geography, because it's messing with the land. Economics, the cost that it's going to take to fix or to get the town or the country or the city, wherever this happens, to get it back in a state where it was before, prior to the crisis. And the political, how is government handling it? So there are various pros and cons of nuclear energy. Obviously, as long as there's no disasters, it's a pretty safe deal, right? I mean, you have to be cautious. It offers jobs, it helps the economy, but at the same time, there's a lot of cons. So you're going to click on this video to watch some of the cons. Obviously, cleanup is expensive. It's harmful to the environment and wildlife. So here's a better list of what would happen. It is cheap to operate, but it's expensive to build. 10 billion, safe as long as no disasters occur. Uranium mining is dangerous, leaves radioactive material. Nuclear technology can be weaponized. Technology can be weaponized and a target for terrorism. So there's a lot of pros and cons, and let's talk about that in class today. So this happened near the border of Ukraine and Belarus. So it's 10% of Ukraine's energy came from the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. So here is Chernobyl right here. Here's Belarus and here's Russia. Here's Ukraine. So believe it or not, a lot of these areas were affected. Even though Chernobyl is up here, these areas were in fact affected by it. Think of it like when we have the African dust, right? It's coming from Africa, it's coming across the ocean. We have that effect, right? We get that red on our cars, on our porch, sometimes even on our white dogs if it rains, which is the weirdest thing that happened to me once. But that smoke comes into the United States, and Africa's way far away. Well, imagine this. We're talking about nuclear here, uranium. All right, so the timeline, this happened April 26, 1986. It's the worst nuclear plant accident in history. It happened at 1:23 a.m. because reactor number 4 failed. resulting in fires sent to a plume of highly radioactive fallout over parts of the Soviet Union and Europe. So these are some effects. Obviously, an estimated 90,000 people have died from cancer because of this disaster. You could see the effects to the leg, cancer, and even some of the animals, unfortunately. I mean, that's a sad sight. All of these are a sad sight, but it's how dangerous this uranium is. So this is an abandoned area near the factory. So let's think about that. How would Helotes look if suddenly everyone needed to evacuate? Would it look like this? Imagine the HEB area with suddenly zero vehicles. That would be strange, wouldn't it? Do you think the water is contaminated? Absolutely, it sure is. And you could go back to now, are there fish with three eyes? Possibly not, but it's just to give you an idea of how dangerous it is. Here's an abandoned amusement park. So the radiation from Chernobyl, so this is, if we think of the per square meters, the Chernobyl plant is right here. It traveled all the way up to here. Even these orange areas felt some of it. Not a lot, but it felt some. The impossible happens in Chernobyl. Again, this is just to show how it's started to move up, right? The radiation is moving up, even all the way up to Asia, to the Antarctica. What is the closest distance in miles that you would ever be willing to live from a nuclear power plant? It's a tongue twister there. Well, believe it or not, we have two in Texas. We have the South Texas nuclear plant in Matagorda County. It's near Bay City, near Houston, and Comanche Peak in Somerville County, which is 40 miles from Fort Worth. So it's not very far from us. There's about 104 reactors and 65 plants. Now, this looks a little bit amazing because it shows the radioactive affected areas. If there were to be an accident, we'll show it live on the video. So it's very interesting. If you are at home, put this on present mode so you can see the radioactive, how it works. Theoretical. So the world reactors, the population, GDP, standard of living. So let's talk about that because obviously, I remember when we first learned about Russia last week, we learned that a lot of people live near that Moscow area, right? Close to that Russia, all around here. Suddenly, because of Chernobyl, you'll see that people are starting to move away. Obviously, how does that affect the GDP? Well, if nothing is being produced in that country, they're not doing very well financially, right? The standards of living are probably pretty low. All right, so we are going to do that today. When you are done, you are going to click on Miss Martinez Revisiting Chernobyl, a nuclear disaster site of epic proportions. You will watch this video. I don't know where it says edit. Okay, and then you will take the assignment. Okay, I'm hoping it will work. We had problems with that puzzle last week, so I'm hoping there's no issues. All right, I will. Either way, I'll know if you watched it. Remember, I can tell how long you watched it for, and it will also grade it. All right, it'll tell me whether you watched it at all, and then you will submit it. All right, my angels. I can't wait to see you. It's been 2 long days. We will talk about Chernobyl in a bit.